Whiskey Thoughts is intended for a mature audience and is not for those easily offended. If this content hurts your feelings, please share it with your friends for moral support.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Cody Kessler from Whiskey Thoughts. And so you may be wondering why you are seeing me standing here rather than at the beginning of our normal shows where we're sitting at our little lounge and I've got a couple people with me. Why am I here by myself starting a show like this? Well, it's because I've never claimed to be the smartest man on the planet, and I'm certainly not the smartest guy when it comes to technology and shit like that. So while we were recording the show, we got about 7.5 minutes in, and I happened to look over at the computer and kind of realized that we didn't have any fucking sound. I don't know what happened, but the sound that was coming from the mics, it wasn't making it into the computer. And so we didn't have any sound, and we haven't been able to find it and get it. So yeah. So for the first 7.5 minutes or so of the show, you got three guys just, running their mouths, but no sound. So we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. Do we put on the same clothes and try to go and match it up? And then at the end of the day, listen, this is all about being real anyway. And we're not trying to make it perfect. We're idiots. We're going to fuck things up every now and again. And that's exactly what happened here. So really all I'm doing is just kind of let you know, I'm going to kind of run through a little bit of what the show was. I'm going to tell you, kind of a little bit about who our guests are and introduce the whiskey and things like that. But then it's just going to kind of end and jump into the show. So it'll be a little funny, but at least you understand what's going on. So all that being said, we had two guests join us for the last show. We had a guy named CJ Hamidi. I like to call him the mouth of the South. He is all over the internet. He's got a super sharp tongue, lots of wit, but a really smart guy and put some good thoughts together. And then I was also joined by a guy named Quinzy Fraser. Quinzy is also a really good friend of mine. I've known him for a very long time. He's got a great story to tell, and he's going to get into his story. And it was a pretty compelling show. We always talk about serious stuff, but we always make it fun and laugh, and we get to the point. But there's a lot of emotion in this show. He was telling a story that I think that you guys are going to really like, but it goes in with the theme of the show. And so before we get to that, this is what we were drinking when we did the show. It's Bardstown. This is their Fusion series, which is excellent. It is an awesome bourbon. It is from Bardstown, Kentucky, so it is a Kentucky bourbon. But their Fusion series, what they do is they take some of their newer or less aged bourbons and they blend them with choice bourbons that have been aged that match kind of the palate, and the overall, I guess, flavor that they're looking for. And I think it's fantastic. So, highly recommend it. Enjoy the bottle. We didn't actually get too much into it. You'll actually learn why. There was only me drinking. Quincy does not drink. Like I said, when he tells his story, you're going to find out why. But outside of that, I also wanted to give a shout out. The guy that gave me this bottle, a really good friend of mine, his name is Dimitri Yakumaros. He was kind enough to give me this bottle and a bottle of Peerless, which is another Kentucky bourbon that's awesome, hard to kind of find around here. But we really enjoy both those bottles. Just another thing, he owns a company called ACC, American Custom Contractors. Great company. If you need anything from like roofing, siding, windows, he's your guy. He's fantastic, honest, does a great job. So highly recommend if you've got any of those things that you need, give that man a call. But other than that, it was last week and I was listening to a bunch of shit going on like I always do. And I was drinking some whiskey and the thought came to me and it was really, what the fuck is going on in our country where everybody wants to be a victim? It's no longer, maybe you are a victim, maybe you aren't, right? And our society has gotten to a point where I think that everybody wants to be a victim. We're competing to see who can be the bigger victim. We used to celebrate things like hard work, discipline, determination, showing up and actually doing the job until it's done. and not making excuses. There were no excuses. You just got it done. It didn't matter what happened. Nobody cared. It was just an excuse. And that was a beautiful way to live because everybody was working towards the same thing, which was just being quiet, taking care of your family, and being successful. And now we're raising an entire generation that is brought up in a society where your value seems to come from how big of a victim you are. I personally find that to be disgusting. And for everybody that talks about, things that offend them, that offends me. Those are the things that offend me because it directly affects everybody. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It offends me because you aren't willing to put in the work to be a valuable member of our society. You'd rather take the easy way out and be a victim and try to point the finger and blame somebody else. And I just don't buy into that shit. So that's our topic that we talked about for the show. It's called Victimhood is a fucking Cancer. And it is. If you are a victim, you got to get that shit out of your mind. You just got to be like, look, this is not me. This is not who I should be. This event or whatever happened to you, if it's legitimate or not, you got to be able to move past that. So that was our conversation. This show is about an hour and 45 minutes long. It's not nearly as long as our song, which is probably a good thing for some of you guys. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm sick of hearing that guy talk. Anyway, I think you're really going to enjoy this show. And, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. And, check you all later. Thanks.
It is unfortunate that we're at this point. Yeah. Right now.
Society. Well, what do you think is driving it, right? I mean, really, at the end of the day, what do you think is the root of it?
I'll laugh. You guys will laugh at me, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but
here's that
always. And that,
I thought I won that award.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, boys.
I'm dumb.
Sweet tea thoughts, ladies and gentlemen.
What Alex Jones said. I gotta be honest. I'm kind of retarded.
I look at it and I think back to, for me, being a competitor, being an athlete, growing up in a competitive and athletic family, and generations thereof.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a fucking trophy.
Yeah. Isn't it easier to control a sick and depressed society who is,
I would say,
that's on all kinds of medication?
They're passive.
Yeah, because and it's easier for the powers that be, the world elites, to control the masses if they're all sick, feeling sorry for themselves, a victim.
Well, weak men.
Weak men create. What do they create? They create hard times. And we can look at the Oval Office right now, kind of where things are, and that kind of speaks for itself.
I mean, I really don't think that falling off a bike would convey a sign of weakness.
What about the mumbling, the incoherence, the full-blown dementia?
I understand everything he says.
Sure. You speak Bidenese. Good for you. You should be his translator.
But I really, you touch on a point that's, it's very possible, right? Is this all done by design? So you can go down that rabbit hole right there, and that's a pretty crazy rabbit hole to go down, right?
And scary. It's not just crazy; it's scary.
It really is, right?
They want a rabbit hole that people will avoid.
Nobody wants to talk about the reality, right?
Avoid that thing.
The 800-pound gorilla in the room.
It's not even like an 800-pound gorilla in the elevator. It's not even like the ostrich with the head in the sand.
No,
actually, it is really.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah,
the lion is coming whether you like it or not.
Yeah, do not want to talk about it. Don't want
to
have anything to do
you, even if you want to pretend that you don't see it.
That's right.
And it's unfortunate.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about it from the standpoint of, all right, and this is going to sound even more crazy, right? Again, not to reference Alex Jones twice in 5 minutes, but y'all remember that thing where he was talking about the frogs and they turned gay because of the water that they were being given, right? Okay, so that was tap water that they gave frogs, and the male frogs turned gay. And everybody said that, the man was crazy. And it sounds insane when you say that out loud, but holy shit, he was right.
Yep.
The frogs turned gay. So if you wanted a weak society, right? And because that's what you have. You have when you have strong men, when you have men like in our grandfather's generation, the World War II generation, right? No, because those men,
and it just so happens that what they want to do is right.
100%. They're good men. They know what good and evil is, and they would stand up. I'm telling you right now, like it's shocking to me, but I think that if what was going on today, right, if that was in the previous generation, or if those generations were in this time, right, not to bring up January 6th, the insurrection day, right? Dear God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. We're going to get shut down. Trust me. But I really do think that we would be in a much different position because these people, our grandfathers, wouldn't have put up with any of this bullshit.
My grandfather was a colonel in the Air Force, and knowing him, there's just absolutely a 0.00% chance of any of that.
Nobody's tolerating any of this shit now, right? And so it gets to the point where you start creating a society, right? From the bottom,
Tree farm.
Decades ago, you start planting those seeds, and then so you generationally change the outlook. And now people hate the flag because the flag stands for racism. Like you've taken something which literally is the symbol of equality and freedom, and that's what every single person. I mean, that's what you're supposed to love, and they've taken it and they've made it a symbol for evil, right? Within years.
You know where it started? I was reading a lot of this started in the flower movement in the 60s. A lot of those kids are now, believe it or not, professors and
true.
CEOs that grew to hate America, hate capitalism, American strength, and all of that, so, and then obviously that it's just kind of evolved into now that they're kind of running the country in a lot of ways. Like I said, higher education, a lot of Fortune 500 companies, obviously Silicon Valley, and anything and everything that is woke, it seems to fall in line with the victimhood as well. Yeah. I think it all ties together.
Well, all right. So question, take a community, take the Black community, right? Okay. So take the victimhood mentality, because there are victims in the Black community, real victims, right? Absolutely. There's real victims in all communities. Okay. So the difference is the victimhood mentality is different than actually being a victim. Right. Okay. Because the people that I actually know that have had bad shit happen to them, they're not victims, right? They take their situation and they go, all right, that was fucking bad. That was some bad shit that happened. How am I going to move on in my life and move forward from that, right? Yeah, because they don't allow that moment to define them as a human being, or it doesn't define them for the rest of their life. The
and there's
topic,
the definition of strength that
I
would subscribe
absolutely
to, where you're talking about
traumatic,
not necessarily you, but
anyone,
American weakness.
Yeah,
victimhood falls. I'll take that back. The statement victimhood mentality, in my mind and in my opinion, is a synonym for weakness.
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody has been a victim at some point.
Sure. Life is tough.
It's not about what happens to you.
It's about when.
Really, it's about when, and then it's about how you choose.
How do you respond?
It's not even how you respond, because sometimes you're forced, but how you choose to respond. And I think that's the difference that we're affected with right now, is that nobody wants to respond. They want to just
want to sit down.
It's perpetual victimhood and woe is me.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we've taken things where normally, right? We would say, okay, take a situation where somebody gets arrested, whatever, right? They're selling drugs. Okay. So maybe you're selling drugs because that's literally the only thing that you've got going on, right? Sure. So you live in the south side of Chicago. That's what else are you really going to do, right? That's a reality.
Yeah. You grew up.
That's a reality.
That is your world,
right? So you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do, right? So okay, so that is something where you could say you are a victim of your environment, right? You didn't ask to be born to those parents. You didn't ask to be, born into Southside Chicago life.
Right.
But you do have the opportunity to do something, right?
you have the opportunity. Look at Ben Carson. I love that story, right?
Great book.
Dude
Legend.
grew up in the ghetto
South.
of South Central LA, right?
Yeah.
And his mother, I think she was single mom. I think the dad, single mom, lots of children. She made him go to the library every single day.
Well, dude,
right?
it's parenting, man.
It is parenting,
you know that
right?
you have to be there. You have to be present, and obviously that right there, single family homes is going to be tough. You know,
I get it,
especially in the inner city.
But you use that as the example to say, all right, so how many kids lived in that same neighborhood, right? And how many kids didn't turn out to be Dr. Ben Carson, right? So that's what I always look at, because everybody always says, well, they didn't have the opportunity. They didn't have the chance. And I say bullshit, right? Because you do have a harder climb, but you can do it because it's been done. Yeah. And it goes back to what you were saying. It's easier to just say, look, I can't because I'm a victim, right?
You got to get that can't word out of your vocabulary. Look, there's a reason why hundreds of thousands and millions of people come to this country. It's because if you work hard, you put your head to the grindstone, you can do something. You can start a business. You can be successful. You can be a great member of society and give back. But obviously, if it's instilled at an early age that, you know what, you're always going to be a victim because of the color of your skin, or because of your sexuality, or because of your religion, then the chances are slim to none.
It's the brainwashing.
It's the brainwashing. Part is that then bleeds down into the next generation.
100%.
Oh yeah, so you get trained 100%. That way. You get embedded. You know? Yep.
And so that's what I was saying.
Groomed. That's the new word.
It's a cancer, right? Because it starts in one small place.
Yeah.
And it starts growing and growing.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you're riddled with it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happened. And we've changed from the society where we used to say that person's a loser, right? That person is a loser at life because they're not doing what they need to be doing. They're not working hard. And so we stopped calling those people out. We're not allowed to say anything bad anymore, right? So
call them out or just ignore them, right? You know,
Well, I'm just saying, like, now, I mean, if you say anything negative about somebody, right?
Yeah.
Then you are the bad guy for attacking the person because they've made that person a victim.
That makes you like a xenophobe, a racist,
whatever it is. But it's like, so now you are the bad person for attacking them by simply just stating, hey, look, you're not doing what you're not doing what you're supposed to do, right?
Right.
And so then it's grown from, okay, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, somebody's going to call me out, right? I'm going to be a failure at life. I'm going to be ostracized. I don't want that. I want to be successful. I want a good thing. Now it's, let me look for the thing that makes me a victim, right? I don't even have to. I mean, how many rich white kids, right? And it's supposed to be the most privileged kid on and they're now victims in some way, shape, or form. They're making themselves, they're finding their little thing and be like, this is what's wrong with me. I don't have this. And I find that to be absolutely disgusting because you take people that truly, and that's what I see now. You have all of these small little pockets, all of these little communities, and it's almost like they're competing to see who can be the biggest victim.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the biggest victim. This is, and when real people that have real problems look at them, they go, you're not a fucking victim at all. You don't even know.
You just need to put your boots on and get up and go.
What happened to that, man?
What
happened to work ethic? What happened to
work ethic? That work ethic. We're going to go down that.
Oh yeah.
What happened to that?
When we're looking at, this is my perspective, and there's a middle ground to everything.
Sure.
And that, hey, you're a loser, versus, hey, I'm a victim. You know, no man is an island unto himself.
No.
The reason why, and my story is my story, but the reason why I've been able to be and do is because of the community that has supported me.
Yep.
100%. Now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean I didn't work my ass off. It doesn't mean I don't work my ass off.
I can verify for that.
You know,
I validate that.
And for the most part, it's because that is the lesson that I want my kids to see.
Sure.
that is a lesson that I want the kids that I coach to see.
Yep.
Right.
That is a lesson that I want the people that are going to be around and influencing my children and the kids that I coach to see.
I'm telling you, man, you put it in the atmosphere. If you work hard and you do good things happen. It's one of those things. It just comes back around.
And that's the thing. What I mean, like, it's, you know, we can point, and there's always going to be the bigger group or the more influential group that can make the point and make the point and make the point. And then there's always going to be the smaller group that says, "Oh, I don't know what to do," you know. But within all of those groups, whatever the dynamic is, whatever the demographic is, there needs to be those true motherfuckers that stand up and say, shut the fuck up with the pointing for a second, and let's figure out how we can teach this little dude or dudette how to fish.
Yeah.
And then from that, cool, you got it. Now, what you choose to do with it, it's on you.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you know,
we need leaders.
If you don't know, if somebody doesn't, that's it. That's exactly it. It's about leadership. It's about leadership on
parenting,
level.
leadership.
Yep, parenting.
Even part of your community, your neighborhood, church.
100%.
You know, mentoring. Yep, absolutely.
My kids laugh at me right now to this day because I cannot walk the dogs with them without having a conversation with all of my neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not
it's a beautiful thing.
And here's the thing: I don't talk about politics. I don't watch the news because I know that I'm going to hear it anyways.
Not from me.
You know, I know that.
Not from me.
You know, I know that, and really, for real, the shit for the most part's out of my pay grade.
Yep. No, it's you're better off without it, bro.
I'm going to keep it moving.
Life's better.
And when the stuff happens, if shit hits the fan, I don't want to go.
Come on, my little basement right here.
Right here. This is the little fort.
It's, you know.
Oh man, I'll show you a picture because my family's away right now. So it's like I came home the other night. I'd had a few glasses of brown water.
11.
And when I woke up in the morning,
naked,
I had two guns. I had two guns.
Rambo naked.
Yeah, Rambo
naked. That too.
Covered in barbecue sauce.
Two guns were on the floor. One gun was on the nightstand, and my knife was open. Yeah. And I didn't remember doing it.
Were you doing like your?
I have no idea.
What's the Marine walk? Me and Myers used to do that in Langley.
Shout out to Dottie.
Hello, Dottie.
Shout out to Dottie. He'll never watch this ever. Not a chance.
He's watching NPR right now. Listening to NPR. Whoa. Take it easy on that.
Hey,
are you driving? Well, take it easy.
I'm drinking this whole thing. I'm going to have a full diabetic attack.
It's the sugar.
I'm telling you.
Baby got the sugar. All right. So there's the thing that we have to go back to, right? It's like when you start eroding the foundation of the things that you just talked about, right? And then you couple that with the acceptance. And that's what I was saying. We've accepted it now. You don't have to call somebody out and be like, you're a loser, right? But like, that's a little extreme. That is. And I'm just saying, I was using that as the opposite, example. But shit, man, when we were growing up, dude, kids were ruthless, right? And they're ruthless now, but in a different way, right? So, but I mean,
it's more of like, don't be a punk, stop crying, get up, wipe the gravel off, like playing sports.
I mean, the names that kids would call each other when we were growing up, right? And like nobody thought anything of it. It was just like, okay, that's just what it is. You just got called names,
we're bullied a little bit,
But I think it made us tough, right? I mean, I got my ass kicked when I was a kid. I'm sure everybody else did, but you also kicked some ass at some point in time. It's
past that ass kicking baton on.
You got your knees dirty playing in the grass kind of thing. And it's just, I don't even see kids doing that today. My kids don't do it, right? No. Nobody plays like we used to play. And I think that also has a lot to do with this, right?
They're gamers.
You're taking these children and you're segregating them from
one another.
From other children, and you put them. My kid sits right there, plays television, plays his stupid video games, and that's his world, right? And it's like, get out, go outside. And even if I do force them to go outside, well, guess what? There's no other kids playing because they're all sitting in their basements playing on the fucking video games.
Speaking of which, I mean to hijack it.
Yeah.
Quincy, you played college football.
Yeah.
You were all county, I believe. And what did sports do for you? I mean, obviously, and that's probably sorry to interrupt there.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
No, that was,
how important were they to you? Like you're as becoming the man that you are, and obviously
even in the work that I do now.
That's
Like, I was very, very blessed that my parents moved into Montgomery Village when, in 1979, 1978, when it was a budding community and there were kids. I had 30, 40 kids in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we were always
outside.
We were always outside. We were
Flag
always ripping and always
two-hand
running.
touch.
Yep.
Kickball, basketball.
Playing in creeks.
Yeah, that's right.
Playing,
exploring.
And I love that there, even as we got into school, like middle school and high school, and then, especially once you get into high school,
a lot of the same kids.
You can't play unless your grades are right. But now they make it so that you don't have to do any work.
Right.
All you got to do is turn a paper in late. They'll give you all the answers.
Participation trophy,
Participation trophy. And then you still get to play. So there's no consequence. For me, I was scared to death not to play.
So you were doing those books.
And my parents were like, this little motherfucker is annoying as shit. He needs to be out doing stuff.
Get him out of here.
But they held to it. They're like, no. If you can't do what you need to do on your end, then you're not going to do what you want.
You're not going to play on that select team, that club team. That.
And I carry that same with my.
Good, you pass it on.
Like it just
get the work done.
As far as the sports go, man, it builds so much in terms of
confidence,
teamwork, personal communication, leadership, being able to follow,
losing,
trust, how to work hard. Like that work ethic doesn't these kids that are playing these video games now, they don't know what the fuck a work ethic is, because what happens? Oh, I died. Restart.
Restart.
And then you start right where you left off. So it's not like you got penalized.
Also, what you learn from losing, right? There's a lot that you can lose. There's,
I have that conversation with a lot of the kids that I've coached in the past. Anytime we've had a loss.
Yeah.
Because
what do we learn
there
today?
are so many better lessons
from losing
in the loss than there will ever be in the win. Which is why you can talk to any person that has been successful, and
you're going to lose more than you win.
You will lose more than you win.
Yeah, that's life.
But if that were the case, then and they were the victim, and they had the victim mentality,
I'm just going to lose again. Right. You got to get back up. Yep. That's it.
It's the excuse of, why did I lose? I lost because of this or whatever it is, right?
Cool.
Oh, the refs made a bad call. Like, dude, it wasn't.
That happens.
It happens, right? Move on.
What are we going to do?
It is what it is. Exactly. You had a bad play. You threw an interception. Whatever it is.
What's next?
Move on. Right?
Game's not over. Let's go.
And it's like, I don't understand people. I really don't. I don't understand people that sit in the same spot, right? And dwell on that one thing that happened and can't move on. I understand that, there's some shit like death, right? It's a horrible thing. You lose somebody. You grieve. You're sad.
Yeah. Right.
But if you stay in that same place,
you disintegrate.
You don't move forward. And then what happens is you actually start to take everybody that's around you, you take them down with you, right? Because you're no longer bringing any value to the table anymore. You're not doing what you need to do as a human, as a teammate, or whatever it is. You stop.
You be in a leadership position in that be the case,
right?
There's so much that these kids can learn and should be learning as kids. I mean, you want the kids to be kids. You know what I mean? You want them to play and rip and run, and that's why we have done the things that we've done and tried to move in the places that we move to give the kids the opportunity to be able to do that. Like just like our parents did, just like their parents did. It's just about finding the best situation for you to bring up the next generation.
Yeah, I was going to say, so we're talking about this, but what can we do to fix the problem, right? In our little world, in our little lane. I mean, we're talking about it, but I guess it's
I mean, how do you fix it?
How do you fix it? Like that's just
yeah, but it's like we have now. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know how you unfuck what we just did. Like, because now you have groups, you have the government, you have everybody jumping in and saying, no. You are a victim, right? You're validating weakness, and you're being like, you don't have to even have anything happen to you. You're a victim because of the color of your skin, or because you say that you're a man when you're really a woman, and that makes you a victim. Like, get the fuck out of here. None of those things make you a victim. None of them, in my opinion. We had a black president twice, right? So I don't really care what anybody says to me. Like, you can do whatever you want to do, no matter what color you are in this country right now. Absolutely. Right? It goes back to, in my opinion,
up here, above the neck.
Are you a fucking moron or not? That is what it comes down to, in my opinion, right? I don't care who you are, where you come from, what religion you are. If you are a fucking moron, that's all I care about. That's it. Because if you're a dumb fuck, guess what? You're not going anywhere. But if you're smart and you're intelligent and you have
to be the smartest guy, you just have to have a good work ethic.
You have to have integrity. You have to have discipline. You have to have the intangibles. And that is really what I see that separates everybody. The people that I know have all those qualities. I don't give a shit what you look like, right? But it's like the people that, and you can easily identify them. You know who they are.
The purple hair.
I'm just saying that people that are weak people, right? Weak people. Yeah. And you go, that's a person that, like, literally, I don't even want to be around them, because they're so opposite of who I am that I can't even be myself around them, right?
So what if you're alone in your car wearing a mask driving? What does that tell you?
That's strength.
Okay.
Strength. It's solid. You're looking out for other people.
Right.
You're doing the right thing.
Sure.
You're looking
out for thy neighbor.
You're making sure that you don't harm anyone else. That's what I see.
The windows up, the mask on.
That's what I see.
That's great.
That is what I see. And they probably hit the recycle button on the air just to make sure that it's their own dirty air. Nothing's going outside.
Absolutely. Slowly killing yourself for society.
No. That's what we want. Yeah.
But I don't know. All right. So look, check this out. The reason why I wanted you to come on specifically, and as long as you're okay with this,
I'm okay.
This is the prime example to me. I love your fucking story. I love it, because I think it's fucking fantastic, and it's the definition of, one, why I love you as a person, and two, why I speak so highly of you when your name is in my mouth, right? It's just like, I have nothing but amazing things to say. High praise.
In your mouth, huh?
Yeah. When I put things in your mouth.
Check, please.
This is the gay whiskey talk.
Gay whiskey talk.
I am a victim today. So it really is one of those things where it defines the show, right? Everything that we're talking about, like, bad shit happens in life. And I don't know anybody that hasn't had something bad happen to them. Some people have some shit that's a whole lot worse. So, I don't know how you want to do it, but if you want to tell these people, because I think that anybody that's watching this, you are the most qualified person to be talking about this, because if anybody that I know personally has a reason to be like, I'm a victim, right? Even though in the sense that when you explain it, part of it, you weren't the victim.
No.
Okay. You were not the victim.
I was the idiot.
You were the idiot, right? It's after that.
Right.
It's everything else. Because that was right there. There was a schism, right? It could have gone this way, or it could have gone this way. And everything that you did, everything that came out of that schism, so to speak, you went the right direction. You did the right thing. And then now you're sitting here. Motherfucker got his driver's license, everything's back. He's back on the road, motherfucker.
The king of the Kentlands,
right?
The mayor,
right? If you ever want to ruin your abs, meaning,
no,
I won't even do it. I'm fucking
Q
afraid.
He'll put a hurt
I am
on
afraid.
You. I've done a couple Q workouts. It's no joke.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah,
and that's the thing too. And that's and that was the.
Well, you got to tell the story.
Was the gift.
You got to tell the story.
So over a decade ago, I was out and drinking. And on the way home, I got into a car accident. And the gentleman, I will know his name. I will remember his name forever. I will not say his name now.
Understood, yeah.
But got in a car accident, and that gentleman died. And nobody's fault but my own. I own everything of it. That point, today, tomorrow, until my last breath, it was my dumbass action that resulted in a man losing his life, and a family losing a man, and a community losing a man. And I recognize that every day.
Yeah.
And from that, I was sentenced to 10 years in prison. I got two years suspended, so I was given 8 years, and through the institution you get good time for working and this, that, and the other. And I worked that down from June of 2010 until February of 2015. You know, and during that time, you know, it's another life. That's a you know.
Yeah. Does that seem real? Like when you think back, like
looking back at it now, I've after the fact, I've been out longer than I was in.
Yeah.
You know, got out February of 2015. So that's
7 years, 7 years,
7 years, 7.5 years ago. And I was basically in for 5.
You have dreams about that shit? Like
I don't.
None? You don't think about it? Nothing.
Not at all. And it was just, you know,
that's the indication that you moved on
completely.
That right there is the indication, like, because that shit shows up in your subconscious. If it's there, you dream about it, right? It's like I still have dreams about being in the military.
Sometimes it only seems like a dream that it happened.
Yeah.
You know, but
the
thing about it is there are bigger things than me that were at stake here.
Yeah.
You know, I already sadly, you know, ended this gentleman's life, and through completely irresponsible. It could have been completely avoided, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I own that, and I will have to live with that decision, but I will not destroy anymore.
Doesn't make any sense, right?
My family and the responsibilities that were given to me by God, meeting my kids and every other single kid that comes down the pipe that I either have to coach or train or teach or speak to.
But you had bad shit, like not just going to prison, like
oh man,
you lost your wife, right?
Yeah, I did. I will tell you the reason why I have the relationship with my boys that I have with them now is solely and exclusively because she chose to bring them to see me.
Yeah.
You know, now I had a responsibility there because I knew that if I was doing any stupid ass shit in prison where I got caught and ended up going to lockup,
make a bad situation worse.
Where she shows up with my kids and I don't have the capacity to go out and they say, "Oh, he's in lockup." She'd never come.
Yeah, you would have lost.
Never come back.
Now that doesn't mean, and you know, like I said, my village and my community was absolutely amazing. Starting from the top, my parents are amazing.
Yeah, pops and moms are good people.
I would not have been able to do any of the things that I've been able to do without them.
Yeah.
You know, their support of me in times where I, you know, couldn't drive. I've been out for 7 years. I've been working on getting my driver's license for 7 years. I got it in June. You know?
Stay off the fucking roads. Man almost ran me over the other day in the kennels. I was crossing the street, man. I was like, Jesus, man. I said, where'd you get your fucking driver's license? He's like, yesterday. I was like, hey, what's up, Q?
Oh, you didn't know it was him? Okay, good.
I just wanted to put that was a version of what really happened.
I would have sped up too if I saw you.
So, you know,
just clip me real good.
Yeah, just a little bit
with the mirror.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
dislocate my
Cody's writhing
shoulder.
in pain.
Nothing that hadn't happened before.
Yeah.
So, all right. So look, man, straight, serious question, right?
Sure.
You get out, right? Well, you're in.
So
what are you thinking about the whole time that you're in? Like, what's your mentality?
And that's the funny thing. Like, everybody says jail, prison, jail, prison, jail, prison. It's synonymous. They are not.
That's the game.
No.
Like, it is. It's different.
Yeah.
And in prison, like especially in the county, in the county here, our system is, if I'm not mistaken, if you get sentenced for less than 2 years, 24 months, then
Clarksburg, 7 locks.
Clarksburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
7 locks is just a transition.
Okay.
Yeah. In and out.
Weekends.
Yeah.
Things like that. So prison is different. Prison is the community.
That's your home.
And you've got people there, depending on where you're at. I was in Hagerstown. You got people there that are on year 4 of 800.
Yeah.
That are doing life, that are 60,
Yeah.
that have 60 years, that have, 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever. Because every county is a little bit different.
Mixed bag.
Yeah.
You've got a mixed bag of people. And then, you've got cats that have been in there
Lifers.
for 30 years
Damn.
on a life sentence.
Yeah.
Damn. So for me, I knew my greatest priority, the number one priority, I didn't give a fuck how hell or high water, was to get back to my kids as soon as possible.
Yep.
So from the moment I went in, I went on the shelf. I went in straight isolation mode. I wasn't there to make friends. I wasn't there to, join a group or do this, that.
Right.
What I was gonna, I had a friend of mine, rest his soul, he passed. And damn near every day prior to the sentencing, we'd be rolling jiu-jitsu, boom, 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 boom. And we would just talk, and it gave me the opportunity, knowing what was going to happen. Because when the accident happened, that was that. I didn't even realize, regardless. When the accident happened, you think, oh shit, what's going to happen? So from there,
Fear of the unknown.
yeah, 100%. Get locked up, and you have to navigate a zoo.
Yeah.
And I was incredibly blessed, I think,
Support.
to say, 1, the support, but 2, that, knowing me at 34, I went in at 34 and came out at 39, 34 going on 35, came out at 39 going on 40. And for me, going in then and having the responsibilities allowed me not to get caught up in the bullshit.
Yeah.
Sadly, the majority of the people that are there, new people coming in, were, anywhere between 18 and 25.
So they got nothing.
Yeah. And if they did, then they weren't paying attention to it anyways.
Yeah.
So I knew that I knew I was going to be on the shelf. I didn't know if I was going to be on the shelf for 2 years or 4 years or 5 years or whatever. I got conflicting information. But once I got in, it just, I'm a very observant person. So I sit and I watch, and I don't do too much movement. I don't want to know anybody. I don't want to do anything. I want to make sure that my priority stays the same.
Yeah.
Be able to see my kids when they come and get home to them as soon as possible.
Put this behind you as soon
And
as
my
possible.
wife at the time.
How bad you get fucked with?
In the beginning, it's a tester.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the first several months, everybody tests you. you know. But once, and I had a guy that was on a life sentence say, "Youngblood, I like the way that you move," because I kept to myself. I had my community out here sending me books. I stayed well read.
Oh, that's great.
You know, I wrote letters, and the only time I ever went out was to use, for the first 6 or 7 months, was to use the microwave to make like a noodle, ramen noodle, which is why my kids get mad at me to this day, because I don't want that shit in my house.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I had enough.
Yeah, let's make some real pasta. We've graduated to pasta.
Shit's good though. I mean, it is good.
Listen, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, not a fan of ramen.
You don't need to do it.
So I will.
But all right. So like I said, specifically, and try to remember if you can, because you had a choice, right?
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. You had a choice. Did you feel like while you were in there at any point in time, did you feel like you were the victim? Like, oh shit, what is this going to do to my life? How do I get?
Nope.
Okay. So perfect. How do you do that?
Oh, did I feel what is this going to do to my life? How the hell am I going to make a living for my kids?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about that.
Fuck yeah, I did.
Talk to me about that, because you have nothing but time.
Yeah.
In there.
And when you have nothing but time, you have nothing but your own thoughts. When you have nothing but your own thoughts, boy, you can go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So
start mind effing yourself.
Right. So for me,
yeah, we don't curse on this show, okay?
Fuck. Shit, poo.
So for me, I knew if I'm going to be in here, I'm like, there are a few things that I was built for, and from this high, I knew being a dad was one of them. So if I'm going to be away from my wife, the one who we decided to do this life together.
Fuck.
To do this thing together, and away from the kids who I have this, this responsibility for. I'm not just gonna do nothing. So I kept myself as busy as I could between being read and finding out what opportunities were. I went to college. I got an IT associate's degree.
When you were away?
Yeah, I got a theological seminary degree. I got ASC certified as a mechanic.
Yeah.
So all those things, and again, you laugh.
I didn't even know that shit.
But the opportunities, like,
you founded the Hagerstown Thespian Club.
No, but what I did do, laugh and joke. I got another guy of mine who I am still in contact with. I still am in contact with 3 guys that I was in contact with.
Okay.
But another guy and I, because I was in mortgage finance.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep.
Long time ago.
Yeah, you taught finance classes, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
We started a finance class on faith-based principles. So we would find chapter and verse all the way from Genesis throughout the New Testament, understanding how to manage money. Yeah. So the biggest thing
from a Christian perspective, I like that.
Yes,
that probably earned you a lot of good shit. Points. Yeah,
in doing that, like I was in teaching that class, because I would always just be like, this is great. If I had all the books, I didn't have to go to the library. So whenever I had to, whenever there was
people brought you those books, right?
People sent them to me.
Yeah,
I was incredible. I was there for almost 5.
Did you keep in touch with your Facebook page at all? Because I know that people were showing you love. Because people were showing you love. I remember when you were away. I'm like, man. I remember thinking to myself, man, Q's got a lot of people in his corner that love him so much. Your birthday, Christmas.
I think you can.
I remember seeing
Facebook and all that in the feds, but I don't think in the States.
Yeah, right. I didn't know if you had access to it or something, but did you ever read through it when you got out?
When I did, absolutely.
Because it's like 5 years of like love.
It was really.
Yeah.
It was a blessing to be able to see that. And my wife at the time, she would print all that up.
Yeah.
And send it to me so I could see it.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So
you know what I mean?
That's good. That's good for morale.
Yeah, that's huge.
If you know you're loved, it makes
you got support. You
Yeah.
have support,
You know,
right? If you
and it
don't feel
was-
like you got shit
Yeah.
and nobody
And that-
cares about you,
Let me
right?
tell you, that is
Your saving grace,
That's-
probably.
it was absolutely my saving grace. Because the scariest thing about prison, especially if you're in there for a short time, is being in there and doing something or having to do something that gets you more time.
Yeah.
I met guys in there that were on year 15 of a 3-year sentence.
Wow. Just
Self-sabotagers.
Boom, boom,
Yeah, but
boom,
you get
boom,
pushed.
boom. You get
get pushed.
Listen, I'm not here to say who's scared and who's not, but when you're in an uncomfortable situation, you see this group of people, whatever the group is, whether they're separating themselves by color or religion or whatever it is.
You need
Then
you need allies.
You get these. You go ahead and get these allies you feel comfortable with. Well, when you're no man on the totem pole, you do the shit.
Yeah.
And if you do the shit and get caught, you get the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great for being in there and moving up the chain. But who the fuck wants that?
Yeah.
I didn't. I was trying to get the fuck home.
Yeah.
So I didn't associate myself with anything except for the church.
Did the guards recognize that? Like,
Yes. Because I wasn't out there I wasn't loud.
You weren't causing trouble.
I wasn't causing trouble. I wasn't doing
Quiet,
nothing.
quiet.
Like whether I was in, a cell that was, in high security or whether I was in the cell that was in the honor system. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't fucking around. Like I got this is short time.
Why would you want to?
Because I had a greater responsibility.
That's what I'm saying.
than
Why would
myself.
anyone
But-
want to?
But
right?
there's a thing.
I get it.
When you don't have a knowledge or understanding of what really something bigger than you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of the guys that are in there from Southern Maryland, Hagerstown, or Baltimore.
Yeah.
And they're in the thick of it, and their environment is rough.
Yeah. Those Baltimore black boys, they're
Those
some
blocks,
rough.
some of them
They're
some of them
rough.
have never left
The squeegee dudes.
Let
Yeah.
me tell you,
Dude, Baltimore's a fucking cesspool.
Yeah.
Like they've
It's-
destroyed that city.
It
It is constant corruption,
It's
and I
unfortunate.
genuinely feel bad for the people that live in that city
It's unfortunate.
because you have the leadership
It
in
just
that
perpet-
city
it
that
just
is
perpetuates.
that is manipulating and literally they're raping those people, right?
Yeah.
They're raping those people because they're keeping them in a very specific spot so that they can actually make money. And it's just foul.
I read
man.
recently
It
that
is just
the murder rate in Baltimore is 10 times higher than it is in New York City.
it's
It's a lot smaller, obviously,
but it's not.
Per
It's
capita.
not.
Per
Yeah,
capita.
but Baltimore's I think number 2 or 3. It's not even number 1.
No, Chicago's. I think it's Chicago.
I think it's. Man, I think it's got to be Chicago.
it's
from a
sad
murder
because Baltimore's a
standpoint.
great town with a lot of great history, and it's a great sports town.
Yeah, but there's,
And
mean,
I
you
remember,
can't
like as a
even-
kid, you can't even go to the
the
whatchamacallit
bars anymore.
anymore.
Canton, there's murders in Canton, Fells Point. Like people
Yeah.
are just getting shot.
The harbor is what I was trying to say too.
Yeah.
Even the harbor, you we'll go 1 or 2 blocks off the beaten path, and it's a little sketchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to Baltimore.
But anyway,
Yeah,
let's get back on topic.
All right, so all right, so you get out, right?
So-
So now you're out.
I get out.
Talk to me
and
about like the
Sorry.
whole victim.
Let me tell you, I'll tell you even a few months before I got out. Like it's first 2 years I'm in medium security, medium minimum security. So they control all of your movements, and you're in there. You don't go out of there.
3 squares and a little bit of
Yeah.
1 hour outside or something.
So no, it's not a 23 and 1.
Heard the
Okay.
food was delicious.
Food's absolutely horrible. You never miss breakfast because you can't really fuck up scrambled eggs and,
Yeah.
and grits.
and
Yep.
yeah, some toast.
Right.
Load up.
So
Load up.
you always go to breakfast. Breakfast is at 4 in the morning. So it worked right in line with me because
Well, that's right.
I've been
You're
getting
a
up
trainer.
early anyway.
Yeah.
Like I've always got up early ever since even swimming, But first 2 I'm there. Next 3 I am in minimum pre-release. So I got to do
Different vibe.
road crew. Like these are
Get out and about.
and it's easier to do time there because you don't have knuckleheads around you that are pushing.
Plus, you see some trees.
You actually see more knuckleheads there.
Really?
Yeah, because they're the short timers. You can't be
they haven't learned yet.
You can't be minimum pre-release unless you've got less than 5. So some of them come straight off the street, and they get in there and they think they're still on the street. But the craziest
that makes
part
sense
about it
I didn't even think
you got the old heads that have done 30.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get out. And you got these young cats that
haven't learned the hard way
learned
yet.
anything.
Yeah.
So do
they clash a little bit?
Big time, because there's a shell shock and an anxiety. Like
they're gonna fuck me up.
No, not at all.
Like that mean the old guys are like, dude, you're good if you don't get your shit together.
Nope.
Or they just avoid them.
No, that is not even it at all.
Okay.
More than it doesn't even go that direction. There is an anxiety from being institutionalized for so long that they don't know what the fuck is going to happen. So
when they
it's
get out,
easier to pop these little motherfuckers and get more time.
Right, because it's safer. It's safer that way.
Because they know it.
Shawshank.
Yeah,
they know. You think Shawshank is? It's there.
I love that. That's in my top 10.
A lot of truths to a lot of things you see in prison. Like the craziest thing is it's always loud.
Yeah,
it is always. It doesn't
people
matter
chirping.
the time. It is always. It's just the noise. The noise level is never quiet.
That probably was a shock to the system for you for a while, I would assume, because you're a pretty soft-spoken guy.
Like it's just there's always
chirping, yipping and yapping,
yelling and this. I mean, it just
cursing.
It's insane.
Yeah,
but you learn how to sleep. That's why
even at night.
At night, I'm 24 hours. I'm telling you, it's not just like always people talking shit. It is. Yeah. There is always a high volume of noise from people 24 hours.
Jesus.
And
yeah, you adapt.
You do. You sleep through anything. I can sleep through anything.
That's a blessing, though.
That's anything.
God bless you.
I got people. My lady now, she gets very upset that I can
go right to bed.
Okay, babe. So
good night.
I'm gonna give you about 3 breaths.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my kiss now.
Yeah. And see you in the morning. She's like this for 2 hours. That's me too, man. I think it's the caffeine.
I'm the opposite, man. Like I hear people walking on the carpet. Like I'm sleeping and I hear the and I'm up.
Wow.
It's
crazy.
This
is a carpet made out of aluminum?
I know. It's just like I hear the crunching on the carpet.
Light sleeper, yeah.
Yeah, man. Like if the kids come in the room or something like that, like I hear them the second. Either I hear them get up out of the bed and I'm like, oh, they're up. And what's going on? But it's like any noise, I'm up.
But do you go back to sleep?
No, that's the problem.
There's a difference.
That's a curse.
I'll hear that. And I'm like, oh
yeah, it's nothing.
3 seconds later, wow.
Nope.
So
yeah, I'm up, man. It's just one of those things with me. So it sucks. I would not do well there for that reason because it's like my clock is fucked.
You're wound,
so, yeah. Any noise, anything, like I'm always, it's like it's just me. Like I gotta have same thing with you. Remember the first time I saw you when you got out?
Yeah.
You wouldn't move off the wall. Motherfucker would not move off the wall. He had his back on the wall the entire time. And I was like, I was like, I get you. I just got because you just gotten out like a couple months before that, and it hadn't been long.
It's crazy because that's the thing, like what you learn and what you're subjected to, just because of as wild an environment as it is. If this person doesn't like that person, and that person doesn't like that person over there, because there's so many groups and different housing units and this, that, and the other, they'll send a kite over here and this person sends a kite over there. And then 9 times out of 10, where this person's going to get hit is on the walk to breakfast.
Yeah.
So it's 4:00 in the morning. It's pitch black. There are 400 inmates making I used to call it the blue ox migration, because you have that blue DOC jacket and they're coming out from different places and you're going to the chow hall. And
it's easy.
So you learn to feel energy.
Yeah.
Like it was either there or coming back from transition, everybody going back from lunch or dinner or from basically chow hall.
Yeah.
back to your respective housing units, because that's when everybody's together. You can't jump up in the child hall and do something unless you want to go. You're not going to get away with it. There, you have a better shot of getting away with something.
Everybody's walking
in transition.
Now, were you able to cut you off? Were you able to do things like watch the Super Bowl or watch the playoffs? So that helps too.
So let me tell you, one of the things that is a gift and a curse, I think, is that you have this day room that everybody goes into when it's rec. They call rec. You get rec like 3 or 4 times a day. Some people go out to the weights and all that stuff, but until you get comfortable with that, you're not going out there unless you feel like getting hit in the head with a weight. But in the state prisons, and I imagine the federal prisons too, you got you can get catalog orders. So I would ask, and my community would send me money to be able to get a TV. That little TV that I had in my room, in my cell, kept me out of the day hall.
So you had a TV in your room. So as long as you could buy one, they would let you have it.
And as long as you had paperwork on it. Because, COs will come in and they'll toss the cell, and, I leave it to you because you're the guy that I walk the child with or whatever, or I leave clothes that I got. Like, I got visit clothes, and then I have clothes that
day to day.
Let me tell you how institutionalized I am just a little bit. I just threw my prison visit T-shirt away.
Wow.
Why don't you give it to me, man?
I mean, because that's it. Like I always had like my kids. It was incredibly important.
Yeah, you didn't want to look like you were
day one.
Yeah, you didn't want to look like you were
them to see that I was okay. I wanted them to feel my energy as being okay. I didn't want them. It was heartbreaking to have.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. Because like, it's one of those things where you have to stop, and you have to get complete and utter fucking control over yourself. And it's the hardest. It's the hardest thing to do.
To see them be so happy.
Yeah.
Dude, the whole run down the hall to get to the visiting room to see me.
Yep,
sure. That they're like their little pep in their step.
I can be honest. I don't know. That would be the hardest thing for me. Right, that part right there would be the hardest thing for me because I just
the goodbyes.
I just dropped my kids off. Right,
the elation of the hello, and then the like your heart just breaks because you're not going to see them.
But you know that you can't show, right?
Yeah.
You know that you can't show them that you're dying, right? You can't show them that because if they see that you're dying.
Came in the doorway. There was in the visiting room. The first place I was at, there was when I first got there, man, that's probably my fault that they did this. So anybody that has to deal with that stuff now, I apologize. But actually, it wasn't me. It was because people were trading shoes and shit. But when I first got there, you would have a seat like this, and you'd have a seat right directly across, and the kids would come from the security room, down the hall outside. Kids and my wife, of course. Yes. They didn't come without her. Well, they did sometimes, but that's what kept my relationship with them was the fact that she would come.
She was,
it was still a family unit. They would come. The two of them would race. At the time, my oldest son was 8, and my youngest was 3.
Jesus, man,
and
that's crazy. Just to say that, right? Because you got Devin and Kellen now. You look at them just like
they're bigger than both of them, bigger than I
am. It's nuts, man.
You're still the alpha, though.
Only because I growl. Once they learn how to growl, I got to.
Yeah, there will be a time. That time will come.
So to see them coming up was the greatest joy to me and the greatest heartbreak all at one moment.
Yeah.
And when I first was there, the first 7 or 8 months. The kids would come and they'd sit on my lap.
Yeah. Oh, so you weren't behind a wall or anything like that,
Then, and at first, my first few weeks, the COs would be like, "Yo, they got to sit over there." Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
But when they realized that I carry myself with integrity and respect. I'm going to have integrity and respect because that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether you're a CO,
there are people
correction officer. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you're an inmate. I'm going to at least give you the modicum of respect.
Are you a moron or not? Right?
Until you then show me who you are.
Exactly.
Then I'm not even going to disrespect you. I'm just going to make you invisible.
We're the same way.
You just don't exist.
We're the same way.
I'm not going to waste the time
the
or the energy.
Yeah.
You know.
We're the same.
So, but after a while, they were cool with me because they knew I wasn't about anything but getting back to them. So they let them sit. Then 7 months later, they built this fucking wall.
Oh, damn.
So it broke the kids' hearts. So the next couple of years, Tim would be here. I'd be sitting up, laying out on the wall.
Not the same.
Not the same.
It's the touch, the warmth. Yeah.
And done for that purpose.
Yeah.
We can get into prison reform. We can get into all this, that, and the other. But a lot of it is just, it is what it is. When you're in there, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You can't do shit
There's
about
not
it.
much you can do.
So you have to figure out what the fuck you're going to do.
What's the workaround?
What are you going to
do?
And when it came down to it, having her bring them. And don't get me wrong. Here's how it breaks down. You get 2 visits a week.
That's a lot.
Thursday.
Yeah.
It's either Thursday and Friday or Saturday and Sunday, depending on what your inmate number is, your odds or your evens, right? So I had very good friends and family, my brother, my sister, my parents, they would come and I would get called, and then then every week she would bring my boys, damn near every week.
Yeah.
5 years.
That's solid. That's solid.
And then the other visit I would have from friends and family that would come and see, check on what's up, how you doing, everything,
How long was the visit for? What was the max?
2 hours and 45 minutes.
And you could have as many. So if
it depended on. No, you could have. I think the maximum 4 or 5.
So it wasn't like you were getting random visitors. Everything was planned.
But you had a list. They had to approve it. They had to do security background on it. You had to put them on the list. They had to go through it, and then you go through the security cough.
So you knew what was going on.
Yeah,
it wasn't surprise.
No, there was none of that. I'm being incredibly blessed to have the community I have, which I think, and I will say is probably a reflection of how I treated the community that I was in. I had a number of people that I've since found out would just drive up and try to come see me.
Just random.
Hey, I'm here to see you. I'm here to see Quinzy.
Hey, I'm here to see
Fraser.
Quinzy.
Let me in.
Yeah.
I think I did that 7 times. I did that 7 times.
Sir, we told you last Wednesday. That's not how it works.
I think a fake mustache on there.
So, Cody, we know it's you. See the
James Cody Woodburn Kessler.
Yeah.
We know it's you.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you that the visits, wall or not, were
delicious.
They were my lifeline.
Yeah.
Q, can I hook you up with a little more tea, sir?
Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir.
They're my lifeline. Seeing them as often as I did 2 things. One, it gave me a high to ride from that Saturday or that Sunday until Wednesday. And then
it was a long day.
It gave me something to look forward to, so I didn't fuck up and put anybody in the fucking infirmary Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Right. Yeah. It gave you like a jolt of life, right?
Let me tell you though, with that gap, couple hours,
long days.
Let me tell you, those gap hours when this wore off and that one didn't kick in yet, as far as me being like, okay, relax.
2 more days.
They're
2 more days.
Here 3 days, 2 days, whatever it is.
Let's just get it one day at a time.
Was every single conflict I documented it. It was every conflict I ever had.
Because you got nothing to live for. At that point, you got nothing.
And that's why this space ends up being an entire time for some of these poor guys. and it's rough.
All right. So do you think that they're victims? Those guys, do you think they're victims at that point?
In the joint?
Yeah.
Victims?
Well, this is what we're talking about. This is the conversation, right? So it's like they put themselves in there. Like you just said, I did what I did. I'm supposed to be.
Are we talking about victims or are we talking about victimhood mentality?
Well, it's all tied together, right?
It is tied together, but it is.
There are true victims, but we're talking about victim.
There's a lot of people, right? There's a lot of people that would take an inmate and be like, oh, they're a victim. They're a victim of the system, right?
Well, let's just look at the.
He's supposed to be
let's look. Yeah,
this is the conversation.
Defund
right?
the police and
this is the
and violent criminals getting put right back out in society. That's what we're looking at. That's the
reality. How many murderers were released because of COVID?
Oh my God!
Right?
Yeah, California.
Because those guys were victims. They were victims of the virus. So we released murderers back into society early.
And hence the huge jump in violent crime over the past 2 years.
Look at New York. New York City's a fucking shithole.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to ask you this question because I really want to hear you answer it, right? So you get out. You have a choice, right? Okay. What was your mentality? Like if somebody's sitting here right now and it's like, it's the shit that it comes second nature to me. It's like breathing. I don't understand how somebody can be like, I want to be a victim, right? I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum. It doesn't register in any way, shape, or form with me. I am never the victim. I don't give a shit what happens to me. Nope. It's okay. How do I keep moving forward? One foot in front of the other. And that's where I'm going. It's that way, right? So I use this saying a lot. I don't even know if it's a real saying or not, but I'm like, you can't drive a car looking in the rearview mirror, right? Yep. Because if you do, you're going to fucking wreck. Yep. It's that simple, right? So if I'm looking in the rearview mirror for more than a glance, because you gotta look behind you. Yep. You have to, because that's the reminder of all the shit that you did, good, bad, or otherwise, right? That's the reminder. So you have to take the glance. But if you spend even if it's good, if you spend all your time looking at what's behind you,
yeah.
You're gonna wreck,
and
it's gonna be bad, right? And so that's the message that I try to convey to people. Yeah. I'm like what, you're not helping yourself. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting those around you. You're hurting those that you love, and those that love you, children, people that you coach, whatever it may be, your spouse, doesn't matter. You're hurting them because you're no longer the person that you're supposed to be. Right. You're living in the past, in something that's already happened, that's gone, and you're using that as the excuse for whatever you
any bad thing that happens,
any bad thing you do, anything you say, anything
at
all,
because of,
and it's I did this, I said this because of this, right? And so that's what I wanted to really convey. Like, I've never heard you complain about a fucking thing.
Pretty stoic dude.
Like, nothing.
My level of gratitude. Like, it might be crazy, it might be fucked up, but I even look at that time away on the shelf because I chose to own that. Mm-hmm. I chose
you have
to.
But that says everything.
You don't. You can choose to wallow in it, or you can choose to own it.
Yeah. So as I'm saying, when I say that, it's because that I'm the same. I'm built the same way, right? I'm built the same way. You have to own it. You fucking did it. You did it.
And when you're in there, this is where I'm at. Now, what's next?
Yeah. How do I learn from this and get better?
That's why I spent all those. I exhausted every absolute resource it was to try to make that time not a fucking waste. Yeah. I wasn't just going to sit on the shelf, because what good does that do when I do get out?
Waste the time.
For me to be able to be the person that I'm supposed to be
and quickly get back to your life.
Yeah.
Right? Let me tell you,
for yourself too, and your family. If you don't, they say, if you don't love yourself and that you don't really know how to love other people. So it was for the family. That was your drive, but it's for you too.
But that's because that was for me.
Right. It's all kind of ties together.
That's who you are.
I get out a couple months before that. It was, it was decided that I wasn't going to go back home, what I defined as home. And I had a conversation with my parents. I was like, look, This is what it is. Do you mind if I stay with you guys until I get situated?
Yeah.
And of course they're going to say yes. Like
that's
that is what it is. But I still had to make. I'm not going to expect that. I'm going to ask that, and boom. Otherwise, I was going to be in a little shelter. And I'd have made that shit work too. It didn't so. Got out.
Wait, stop. What was the first indulgence food? Like, what did you do? I'm sure when you got out the clink, you had to have done something like.
I know whatever it was that gave me the absolute shits.
Okay, because your stomach. I
bet my dad could probably tell me that. I'll tell you the funniest institutionalized story about getting out. The first time that I would never fucking forget. So, in prison, you have commissary. You have a list. You have soap, motherfucker. You have toothpaste, motherfucker. You have this, that. You don't have selection upon a selection upon a selection. You have. Bitch, do you want soap?
You got government cheese.
Do you want
government soap?
No, you got. Do you want some deodorant?
Do you want a razor?
That's it.
So I got out.
Basic, generic shit.
That day, so it's such a blessing. My wife at the time and the kids picked me up. Great, fantastic. Went back to my parents' house. That's where it was decided that I was going to stay, and. I spent that rest of the time with them. Kept the kids from school for 3 days and just
sucked them up.
Yeah.
Love fest,
man.
And, lots of hugs and kisses and throwing people around and wrestling and happy tears.
And I think the next day, within 24 hours, my dad, I was like, man, I got to go get some stuff. I go to Bed Bath and Beyond. This shit is funny to me now. I'm telling you, shit is fucking crazy.
You're like,
my dad goes, all right, well, go get what you need. I'm gonna go over here and do this, that, and that. I got into the fucking toothpaste aisle and I got stuck like this.
Wow. What do I do?
What
do I do?
They got cinnamon.
What the fuck is this?
They got cinnamon. They got rainbow.
So my dad comes back by and he's like, he sees me just staring at all this fucking toothpaste, and I'm like,
I don't even know what to do.
I'm literally stuck on stupid. I will never forget that. If my dad sees this fucking podcast, he's gonna laugh his ass off. In fact, I'm gonna tell him about this story, and he's gonna laugh his ass off. And my dad looked at me. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Snap out of it.
They don't get it.
And I damn near broke down and cried. I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
And he's like,
Yeah, take this.
He's like, I'm still over here.
We're getting you some Crest, and that's the decision.
You grab toothpaste, boom, got it, roll. Let me tell you, deodorant.
Same thing.
Gone.
What do I do?
Stuck. Like never thought. Last thing on my mind was that I would be paralyzed because of too many decisions or because of too many options.
Because they dumbed it down for you for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right, because it was
but we take everything for granted.
Yeah.
Everything we do on a daily basis, we take for granted. All the things that we have.
That's why you said the gratitude thing. It's one of those things that I always forget about that. So it's something, the attitude of gratitude, man, that's a game change.
Every situation with gratitude. My energy.
If you can remember that.
Thankful.
Yeah, like one, thankful that I got up.
Yep, breathing.
I woke up today. Remember Paul Cadlick? I don't have a tag on my toe. I can drink whiskey. I can chase beautiful women. Today is going to be a great day.
That's it. Like, and I feel like sometimes you need that shock to just realign everything.
Everything has to be taken away. Everything has to be taken away.
Yeah.
For you to realize how much you have, right?
Yeah.
And for me, this is just me. Like, this is just my perspective on it. Heaven forbid, like, I was built to be a dad.
Yeah.
So when I tell you that my involvement with my kids prior to going was a lot, very.
Yeah.
It was very. So the withdrawal of that for them still breaks my heart to this day. Like my dad and I would have the conversation like, man, listen, you cannot make up for old time.
Yeah.
But and my response is always and will always be to this day, Pop, I'm not trying to make up for old time, but I am trying to maximize every single moment I have with them right now.
Sure.
Because I did not have
that.
moments.
Yeah. I got you.
Perfect example. We laugh and joke about the fact that it took 7 years for me to get my license. It took 7 years for me to get my license, not because the system is fucked up, but because of the choices that I chose to make.
Yeah.
And those choices were, I gave myself a year. Within the year, I gave myself a number of months to get this accomplished. Otherwise, I was coaching and I didn't give a fuck about it. And then it was Christmas, and then I was coaching spring, and then I had summer. So I would get everything done. And then, the bureaucracy takes forever.
So start over again.
Then they'd be like, oh, this, you need that, you need this. Oh, you got to do this, you got. I was like, I did all of it. It's like, oh, it expired. Yeah. And then, heaven forbid, I probably should have had it 3 years ago, but then COVID hit, so that slowed the bureaucracy
and
down.
You just moved on. You're like,
So once that, and some people might say, man, I was stupid. I spent.
Thank God for Uber, though, right?
Let me tell you.
Because they didn't have that when you went away, bro.
They did not.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that the only reason
isn't that crazy?
I've been able to do,
there was no Uber in 2010.
No.
It might have been like
started tiny,
but it wasn't what it was.
Yeah.
Like when I tell you, Uber was what made me able to do.
Zip around.
So
town.
I got out.
Bought stock.
Bought freaking the shit that I needed and got to work. Like, yo, what the fuck am I going to do? How am I going to do? Like, I was thinking I was going to have to get a job as a mechanic. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me just go do these things.
Yeah, I'm certified.
It is what it is. Or I'll get a job doing some low-level computer shit. Like, that's what I'm telling you. I spent my time being like, all right, cool. Well, this is the situation. Now, when I get out, this is going to be the situation. This is my tag.
That's my plan.
So I got to fucking figure out what's going on. Again, incredibly thankful for the community. After that 3 days of me just absorbing my kids,
time to brush my shoulders off and just figure it out.
I had a girlfriend of mine, very good friend, and she came by the house. She's like, "Yo, you gotta go. Let's go." I was like, "Oh, I got stuff to do." She's like, "Just come on." So she took me out with her kids. To this day, love her kids. And we were talking, and she's like, "Why don't you talk to so-and-so?" So I went by, very good friend of mine, Neeraj.
Neeraj Tilhan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Had a staffing company.
Magruder High represent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to high school with him.
Yep.
And at this time, I knew another very good friend of mine that had a Pilates studio, and she had. That's a whole nother funny story prior to being locked up about me getting involved in Pilates, reformer Pilates. But she's like, when you get out, I want you to come and I want you to be an instructor.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, cool. So I did that. I was going through that. At the same time, I bumped into Neeraj. I was like, look, I need to get my chops back. I don't care if it's taking out trash,
entry level, something.
Whatever,
just give me something.
And he's like, absolutely. Stand up dude, gave me an opportunity and got paid. And the next stand up dude that I will love him and his wife for absolutely.
You don't have to say that in here, man.
Cody takes a bow.
Oh, you're not talking about me. I'm sorry.
Motherfucking Tim Colbert.
Oh, Shimmy.
Shimmy Colbert.
Hey, Shimmy.
Let me tell you.
Shout out to Seamus. You won't even watch this either, man. Motherfucker, I don't know what that guy does.
I got out February. I went in January 14th. I got out February 11th. By May, I had 2 jobs and a place to live. 2 bedrooms, condo.
The Durwood place?
Yeah,
hooked it up.
By Shady Grove Metro.
Yep.
I remember that.
They moved and they had it. It just so happened that the time lined up and they trusted me and loved me.
That was Lourdes's place.
That was Lourdes's place.
Yeah, shout out to Lourdes.
Love you, Lourdes.
Hi, Lourdes.
They trusted and loved me enough to trust me with that.
Of course.
And
of course.
Dude, let me tell you, getting out and then obviously having love to get furniture and this and that and the other, you know, many people step up and just, you know, help me furnish this place.
Yeah.
So that I had a place for the boys that we could be and stay and do. And for those, let's say May. So from February to May, I got certified in Pilates. I got trained in recruiting for physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech language pathology. And I made it go. On the days where I had the kids. Whoa. You know, my wife at the time was amazing because, you know, living in the Kentlands, they had their routine. So I was able to come over and spend my days and times with them during the week.
Yeah.
And then they would come over and spend their days and times with me during the weekend.
Yep.
You know, but it worked out really well. I took
the transition was pretty smooth considering. It sounds like it's all about, like you said, it's family, your friends, your support, it's a community,
and that I will
always cherish.
Yeah, to the end of days, because without that community and without that love from the community,
you've had a lot of people in your corner.
You deserve that love, though, man. You know, it's like you deserve that love.
And
you know, bad things happen to good people, and I think everybody recognized that, and that's why, you know, that's evidently clear.
And that's the thing, like, you know, when people bless you, who the fuck are you to squander it?
Like, let them down.
I can't do this. I can't. There's no fucking way.
You're not going to lay anybody down.
Yeah.
No fucking way. You didn't have to do any of that for me.
Right.
My parents didn't have to do it. Nobody had to do any of that for me, but they did.
And you'll always remember that.
I will always remember that. And I will always do everything to honor that.
But see, that's the character that makes you the complete and utter antithesis of a victim. It's the character, right?
It is. It's because it's a choice.
That's all it is. Because that's exactly, you choose to be a victim, right? You choose. I know women that have been raped, right? Raped. To me, I'm just this is me. You rape a woman, you're fucking trash, right? To me, like that is the fucking some of the nastiest shit you can do. I believe in capital punishment for rape. Like you rape a fucking woman,
castration,
beyond. Like I'm talking about like mean, nasty, medieval shit, right? Like to make sure that's it's just you don't do that shit. Like you don't do that shit.
Pulp Fiction shit.
Worse.
Okay.
So, but from the standpoint of like these women that have been through that, because that's fucking trauma,
that's trauma,
right?
Yeah,
that's trauma. But these women that go, you know what? I'm not a victim. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to take what happened to me and use it to help other people.
Yeah.
Like that is the epitome of strength to me, right?
Yeah.
And so how do you take a woman like that, right? No names, no nothing. I mean, there's countless examples out there, right?
Of course.
Whether I know them, whether I don't, there's shit tons of women that fall into that bucket that I could say you are the epitome of strength, right?
My favorite stories are the redemption ones, man, where when life is, you
take the fucking ass whooping, you take it,
and then next thing
you get up.
You're a CEO or you're at the top of your field.
So
you didn't let it define you.
What is the difference? That's what I want to know.
I think
because
it's mental.
Is it DNA? Is your upbringing? Like what the
I think
fuck is it?
I think it's a little bit of upbringing. I do. I think the family dynamic is your foundation, man. And two home parents, two loving parents, and like you said, friends.
Bootstraps, man. Like,
you got that. That's gonna help you. That's gonna help you in life. I think it's.
You think it's.
I think it.
So you think it's married parents, which it very much the nuclear family it very well could be.
And then they're trying to break that up now.
I think that's a huge part of all the things that are wrong with society.
Yeah.
The lack of a nuclear family. But it's like, but you also have a huge dynamic in parents where they're not the same, right? You have one parent who's clearly this and another parent who's clearly this. They're not on the same page, right? So does that break that? Or I mean, in your opinion, right? So it's like, does a child?
I think you're lucky to have both your parents in your life at some capacity, whether they get divorced.
You lost your dad at what, 14?
I was about 13 or 13, so. But I think knowing that your mom and your dad love you is going to make things a little bit easier to deal with when life knocks you down, right? Because you got mom and dad. Together is even better, but separate is the next best thing.
But what you're looking at too, in my perspective, is again, especially when you're dealing with kids and your own kids, you're looking at it like, okay, is it going to be about me, or is it going to be about them? And when you have the two adults that just want to bicker and find this, what do you think they're going to get? Because the thing about it is, and this is the thing that was heartbreaking to me, but also I had to come to a realization with my kids. Who do you feel worse for? The person that was born blind or the person that lost his sight at 20 years old?
The person who lost his sight at 20
because
years old.
they had
don't know what you had. You can now,
right?
Yeah, they would know what they lost,
right? So in my case, using that same example,
analogy,
my youngest son being 3, and my oldest son being 8.
It's a big difference between like knowing what's going on.
The hardest part of my absence was felt
by the elder,
yeah,
because he knows what's going on.
Because he knew what he lost.
Yeah, when you're 3 or a little bit, obviously it's different.
Don't get me wrong. I still laugh at the fact that I loved Dad. I loved the baby mode. I loved getting up in the middle of the night and then the feeding, and then or the taking the baby after the feeding and then sitting up watching. Because listen, we're all from the same damn tribe. We don't sleep.
Yeah.
So
I was up. I was up.
Yeah, I was up too. Yeah. I was up.
I was up.
Yeah.
It was
Amanda was.
Listen,
she was like
not
recovered.
Much different with the baby after the feeding, or even bottle feeding at 2:00 in the morning, watching ESPN with no lights on, than it is at a nightclub 10 years earlier.
Yeah.
We're awake.
Same shit.
So
same shit.
So that was my thing. Like when Devin was so Devin was so young when I would come home from working at the club and just pop him on the chest. 3, 4 in the morning.
That's right. I forgot about that. You and Shimmy were used to run DC. I mean, I think we all did. I bounced. Back in the day. Bounced. We promoted.
This is back in the day when we were all fucking
we ran Midtown. There was a time in the early 2000s when I would go down the street. I'd give Q some love, Shimmy some love.
Those were good days, man.
Those were some good days because
damn good days.
Yeah, the weekends were good. That's right.
All right, so let's start wrapping this up. How the fuck do we fix it? That's what I want to know. Give me your best shot. Give me your best shot. Doesn't have to be
just
perfect.
Lead by example. Be a leader of men. Do what you can do, and hope that it kind of spreads. So easier said than done, right? I think I give good advice sometimes, but I don't necessarily follow it. But I would assume just be a problem solver, be a positive influence.
Sure.
Don't be a victim. What can we do to fix the problem? And just have a positive attitude. I know it sounds pretty vanilla, but I would assume just lead. The point is lead by example. Yeah, and I think if you do that and people see how you react to bad situations, you could inspire some people.
I think there are more people doing that, leading by example.
Yeah.
than are getting credit for, because the propaganda is the exact opposite.
We're doing a podcast about that shit right now.
It's just
trying to lead by example by talking about this shit.
Like that's the thing. Like, the more there's gonna be a tipping point, and we don't know how that tipping point is going to shake out.
You can feel it.
You have such stark
differences
in how people approach life, right? And it is not the things that they want us to think. It's not race. It's not religion. It's not any of the things that they want to separate us with, right? It's not those things. I'm just telling you right now. It's not. It is the things that we have been talking about today. It is a mentality, in my opinion, of weakness, right? It is, I don't want to be successful. I don't want to do the difficult thing. I want to take the easy route.
Yeah.
I want government assistance. I want free government money. Right. I want to do as little as I humanly, possibly can. I want to scream and hold my hand and be like, I am a victim. I am.
And so are you. It's not the only one. They want to spread that.
Yeah. So it's like to me, and I don't give a fuck who I offend by saying this. The worst fucking people on the planet are white female liberals. I fucking hate you. Okay. I can't stand
the
you.
ones that don't shave their armpits, smell like cheese.
Not even that. It's just
drive
like,
Subarus.
No, these are the people that are like they don't have an identity. They don't have an identity. They don't even know who the fuck they are.
There's
right?
a lot in MoCo.
We're in the heart of it, right? So we're in the heart of it. They don't know who they are. And that's a sad fucking thing to me. They complain about
stuff that's not even real.
They don't even understand it. But yet, like you said, they think that by saying, oh, I sympathize, empathize. You can't fuck empathize with anyone. But I feel for you. And we should all understand what you're going through. You're giving validation to bullshit. Nonsense. Right? And these people don't have a job, right? They don't have a job. Most of these white liberal women, they're not working. Most of them aren't working.
I will agree to disagree there. That they're,
okay, they might.
They're teachers. They work for the federal government here in the hub. I've seen them before.
Yeah, but you're talking about again here.
We know some of them.
Of course. In this area, there's shit tons of them.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at it from a national level, right? Like that's why I say that. It's like I really do. I irrelevant. But the point that I'm making is this: the people that condone this, that's where the power comes from, right? Because if I stand up and if I say, I'm a victim, feel bad for me, but if nobody says I feel bad for you, eventually what? I shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Right? I go, okay, well, that didn't work out so well.
That's the funny thing though, because people are, I'm a victim, and then other people are like, all right, well, let me help you. No, I don't want to help.
I want to be the victim. Yeah, because if you help me, if you help me, I'm no longer being. I can no longer be the victim.
They're comfortable being miserable.
They want that's the problem that I see with society. Victimhood is a cancer, okay? Because it fucking festers, it grows, and you build a society where it becomes better to do nothing. It becomes better to be the complainer. It's better, right? To be like, I don't want to work. Fuck that. Fuck working, right?
Yeah, capitalism's evil.
Fuck
colonialism.
I don't want to work hard. I would rather sit back and just be like, you know what? I can't succeed because X, Y, Z, A, B, C. And then people are like, you're right. Whatever it is that you're saying, there's validity to that. Like, and as soon as one person says that you're good, you're like, you know what?
It snowballs.
Yeah. Then you're like, yes. Then you start walking with a swagger, like, I'm a fucking victim.
Yeah.
That shit needs to fucking die. Okay. I'm just telling you, it needs to fucking die. So if you are a victim, if you think you're a victim and you're watching the show, which you probably will never, There will never be a victim unless you're just trying to sit here and talk shit to us. Get the fucking, get a life. Seriously, figure out what the fuck you're doing. I don't care. And I'm talking to you directly. Like, figure your shit out because no one gives a fuck. No one cares. I'm going to use this because you guys know who Bill Burr, right?
Of course, the comedian.
Yeah.
The redhead.
Okay. So he was talking about the WNBA. And somebody was asking him about this, and he goes, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He goes, You failed. I didn't fucking fail. I don't like basketball to begin with, much less fucking watching women play basketball. How the fuck are you going to tell me
It's my fault.
that it's my fault?
Society.
Because basically, we're all the feminists who didn't. He's like, you should paint your fucking faces and go out there and get crazy because you feminists are the ones that have ruined the fucking WNBA. He goes, I'm not supposed to support that shit. I have my fucking league. That's your league. Those are your people. Why don't you go fucking support him? Because you have WNBA games like 250 to 400 people watching. He goes, but it's my fault because I don't give a fuck about women. He goes, hey, women, feminists, what's your favorite WNBA team? Who are the top 5 WNBA players of all time?
I have no clue.
He's like, you can't fucking name them. Yeah. You fail.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. These people think that they've made the WNBA the victims because we don't support women. It's got nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing to do with that. I don't like watching basketball, to be honest with you. I don't like the NBA. So there's a 0% chance I'm watching the WNBA. It's Bella.
Okay, Bella, we'll talk to you a little bit later. We're doing a podcast. Say hi.
I've been calling you for the past 2 hours.
Okay.
And then we have that.
And
well, all right. So on that note, it's we're about 2 hours into this thing, so we're gonna wrap this thing up. Wow.
Sorry about that. Get my 5-year-old who's been obsessively calling me for throughout the whole podcast. So I finally picked up. I just wanted to give her a quick shout.
Wow. No,
that worked well.
So, all right. Well, listen, man, I want to thank you guys for coming on. This was, as always, they're always great conversations. They really are.
That was fun, guys. We have to run this one back.
Thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah,
that was big. You know what I mean? Like sharing that information, that was big. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing that, man. If anybody wants to check us out, our website should be up soon. I will say this. We bought whiskeythoughts.com. And the guy that we bought it from, we paid him the money. And then he decided after we paid him the money that he wanted, that he wasn't going to give us the damn website. I don't know how that's possible. Like
he reneged?
Yeah. Just decided that he wasn't going to give us whiskeythoughts.com. We paid him the money that he was asking for. It was so I don't know. You know what?
So there's got to be a CK's Whiskey Thoughts.
We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. So we got to make a shift and all this stuff. But, we appreciate the support as always. We talk about things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. But the reality is like, you got to talk about this shit. You got to put it out in the open because at the end of the day, and I know I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for the 2 guys that are sitting next to me. We love this country. We love everybody that's here. We're going to have a difference of opinions, and that's fine. Yeah. But if we don't talk about it and we don't put it out there and we don't talk about it honestly, right? There's a lot of people that do this shit and they temper themselves and they say the things that they're like, oh, my sponsors don't want me to say. Fuck that. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Okay. I don't care about money. I don't care about anything. Our goal is to make sure that people actually start thinking and talk about the things that nobody else is talking about, because that's the only way that we're going to move forward as a country. We are not victims. Our country is not a victim. Okay. But if we sit back and we do nothing, I promise you, we're going to be in some deep shit. So I appreciate y'all checking this out. Thank you for the support as always. And go home, have yourself a glass of whiskey, have yourself a thought, We'll check you next time.